At the very end of Maple Street stood a house that all the children avoided. It was a tall, narrow house with peeling gray paint and a sagging porch. One shutter dangled from a single nail, and the garden was a jungle of weeds. It looked exactly like a haunted house should look, but the sounds coming from it were not moans or spooky laughter. They were loud, rhythmic, and very silly. Hiccup, bam clatter, wobble whack, poof! The house was named Horace, and he had a terrible case of the hiccups. It had started when a family of squirrels built a nest in his attic, using especially tickly dry grass. Every 30 seconds, a huge hiccup would shake his wooden frame. The bam clatter was all his windows flying open and slamming shut. The wobble whack was his front door vibrating on its hinges. The poof was a big cloud of soot puffing out of his chimney. The neighborhood was a mess. The mailman had to wear a raincoat to avoid the soot. Old Mr. Miller could not take his afternoon nap because the noise kept waking him up, and the constant vibration made all the streetlights flicker on and off. A brave and curious girl named Lily decided she had to do something. She lived right across the street and felt sorry for the noisy house. One afternoon, she filled her backpack with a water bottle, a flashlight, and a bag of marshmallows, and marched up the creaky steps to Horace's front door. "Hello, Mr. House?" she called out. "Are you okay in there?" The house responded with another mighty hiccup. The door rattled so hard the knob jumped in her hand. Lily pushed the door open and stepped inside. The front room was dusty and full of old furniture covered in white sheets. It was not scary, just lonely. Another hiccup shook the walls, making a covered lamp sway dangerously. "Okay, Horace," Lily said, patting the wall gently. "Let us try to fix this." She remembered that sometimes scaring someone could cure their hiccups. She jumped out from behind a sheet and yelled, "Boo!" The house was silent for a moment. Then, hiccup! A painting of a bowl of fruit fell off the wall with a crash. "All right, so you are not easily scared," Lily said. She tried the next remedy. She poured a glass of water from her bottle and looked for a way to give it to the house. She decided the kitchen sink was the best option. "Here, drink this," she said, pouring the water down the drain. The pipes gurgled. For 25 seconds, everything was quiet. Lily held her breath. Then the sink gurgled again and burped up a bubble of muddy water. Hiccup! This was a very stubborn case. Lily thought hard. The last remedy she knew was holding your breath. But how does a house hold its breath? She looked at the drafty windows and knew what she had to do. She had to seal up the house so no air could get in or out. It was a big job. She ran from room to room, pushing heavy windows shut and latching them. She struggled with the sticky back door, finally slamming it closed. She was out of breath and covered in dust when she finished. She stood in the hallway and spoke firmly. "Okay, Horace. Now hold your breath. Do not let any air in." The house became utterly still. The only sound was Lily's own heartbeat. She counted the seconds. 10, 20, 30. She could feel a strange rumbling deep within the floors. 40 seconds. 50. The pressure was building. At 55 seconds, the house could not hold it any longer. A deep, rumbling, ground-shaking, window-rattling brrrr erupted from the basement. The force of the burp blew the sheets off all the furniture and sent a dusty squirrel family shooting out of the chimney. Then there was silence. A deep, peaceful, wonderful silence. The hiccups were gone. Horace felt wonderful. He seemed to stand up a little straighter. The dangling shutter even looked less crooked. Lily opened a window to let in fresh air and sat on the porch step to eat her marshmallows. She felt a warm, happy feeling from the house, as if it was thanking her. The neighbors were thrilled. The mailman could deliver letters in peace. Mr. Miller enjoyed the best nap of his life, and the streetlights stopped their frantic flickering. Lily visited Horace often after that. She would read books on his porch or draw pictures in his sunny front room. He was not a haunted house at all. He was just a house that had needed a good friend to help him with a very noisy problem. And everyone learned that the scariest sounds sometimes have the silliest solutions.